Hey everyone, this is Shaheen from ShaheenMiroInsights.com, and I'm going to be doing the intuitive forecast for the upcoming week, which will be March 7th through the 13th. And I'm going to pull 3 cards to look at the flow of energy for the week, what we can expect, how we can tap into that message to have an awesome week, and really gain some insight about the energetic atmosphere that will be going on. So I'll pull 3 cards, one for the first part of the week, one for the second part of the week, and one for the third part of the week. And if this is your first time watching, I do this video every week, and you are welcomed to submit a question, whether it's something that you need some advice on, or something about a particular subject involving spirituality and spiritual work. But this is a way for us to share information that may be beneficial to not only you but other people. So I want to point that out and put that out there again. And if you watch this video every week, thank you for being here with me again. I so appreciate it. Now, before we get started, I just want to take a moment for us to ground and center. And we're going to do that just by breathing for just a few moments. So I want you to just let yourself relax, put your feet on the floor, loosen up, feel your shoulders and your hands and your legs all relax. Allow your face to relax, your muscles, especially around the eyes and the mouth. Just rest your hands on your legs in your lap and just begin breathing. And you're going to inhale, long inhale, and then exhale. And as you're inhaling, I want you to begin to imagine yourself being filled with light. Beautiful, white, radiant light. So as you inhale, take that light in and imagine it just sinking deep down into your core, through your legs, through your whole being. And as you exhale, release any negativity, any emotion that is making you feel heavy, any dark and stagnant energies, release them out. And when I'm doing these breathing exercises, I often will imagine that I'm not only breathing through my nose, but I'm breathing through my heart. So fully engaging your body, your energy centers, all the different facets of your being. So just take one more breath in. And just hear these words. I am grounded, centered, happy, and whole. I am here now in this moment. And I am surrounded by the protection, love, healing, and wisdom of the divine. We're just going to seal that into our heart center. All right, I've pulled 3 cards, and we're going to look at each one. As I said before, the first will show us the first part of the week. The second will be the weekend, or the second part of the week, and the third will be the weekend. So the first card that we got for the first part of the week is the Star. And the Star is talking about this idea of allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to be exposed, to be naked in the spiritual sense or the literal sense. Whatever is going to allow you to feel more fluid. So tapping into your intimacy, your vulnerability, and tapping into your own inner silence and tranquility. This is really a card that is about being with yourself, but being with yourself in sacred expression. And that's how you find the answers and the steps forward, and you find the clarity and the insight. And when I look at this card, I also think of the old wish upon a star idea. And it shows me that the beginning part of the week is about speaking intentions, verbalizing or aligning yourself energetically with what you want. And that calls the path in front of you. It calls the path to rise up in front of you so that you can walk in the direction of whatever your intention is that you want to have in your life. So become clear about what intention you have, what you're trying to manifest, and do that through getting in touch with yourself by feeling your innate vulnerability and sensitivity. Now, the second card we have is the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is really a beautiful card to follow the star, because the Knight of Cups is about receiving messages and having a mission, having a message, having some kind of intuition that is leading you and that you are not only hearing, but you're following. So the Knight of Cups is about taking action and taking steps forward into the unknown based on your intuitive impulses, based on whatever information Spirit seems to be whispering to you. So don't just sit around and say, oh, I hear you loud and clear. Say, okay, I hear you loud and clear, and now I'm going to do whatever to move forward. This is about taking action, because in inspired action, magic happens. The third card that we have is the Five of Swords. And this card evokes the feeling of loss, of betrayal, of opposition. If you look at it, there's a man who's kind of in a desolate landscape. He has two swords on his back pointing upwards, and one sword in front of him, which he's holding, or maybe it's stuck in the ground, and then a couple that are laying before him. And to me, this is about picking up the pieces after some kind of great loss or frustration or setback. And this is also talking about knowing who's around you and being aware of your intuitions, what we learned in the Knight of Cups, being aware of your intuitions and allowing those to help you understand the people in your life, the situations in your life, for what they really are. So again, the weekend is about picking up the pieces. It's about settling conflict, and it's about walking away from things that you're struggling with because there's no longer a point. All three of them together. Sorry, I didn't mean to flip it off. So before we wrap up, I'm going to read a question that someone submitted to me, and I'm just going to read it in part. I've gotten quite a few questions, and I really liked this one because it's juicy. It has some different areas that we can cover, and so I'm just going to answer this one question for this video. But depending on how many questions I get, and if there's a theme and how short or long they are, I may answer a few questions per video. But for this one, I want to just answer this one question and give us something to think about. So the person wrote, "Hello, sweet soul. Something just hit me this morning. What feels like the same situations repeating themselves. Is it possible that in some cases, one doesn't necessarily experience the same sort of story because they don't learn their lesson, but because they are divine tools placed in similar situations in order to help teach others or groups? Is it possible that so much light is being shed that flaws cannot be hidden, and unfortunately, in most times, other parties involved haven't matured enough to own those flaws, so they project back negativity to the source of light?" I'm hoping that makes sense. Let me know what you pick up. Bless be. So what I love about this question is that this person is talking about two ideas. One, that we keep getting put in situations because we haven't learned a lesson. And that's a very common idea, and I think there's a lot of truth in that. I've always said that chronic situations mean that there's something left to learn. But she's also talking about another idea that possibly we are placed in similar situations because we are meant to teach people in those situations or to help them learn something as well. So I think that both things are true. I think that chronic situations aren't just a matter of you not getting it, but it's also a matter of you needing to fulfill something. And so if you're in a situation where maybe someone else is meant to be learning something, first, when you're teaching anyone, regardless of you're a school teacher, you're a nurse, you're an intuitive reader, a spiritualist, it doesn't matter what you are. If you are a teacher, you are also a student because everyone is a mirror. I always tell people when I do an intuitive session, the most powerful sessions are the ones that I feel like I walk away from with even more insight about myself. So there should be this give and take. And if you're in a situation that keeps repeating itself, then yes, there's something there that you need to still learn. But then there's also something in that situation that that other person on the other end of it needs to learn as well. And we have to remember that we're energy. So it may be a different situation or a same situation, different person, but the energy is still the same. And so you're still feeding that energy. So I absolutely think that sometimes we are put in situations where we are infusing so much light and so much clarity and so much divine love, and that other person might not be able to receive it, at least not on a conscious, mundane, physical, human level. But on a deeper spiritual level, there are big things that are happening, and you are planting seeds. But you are also receiving something in that situation. So my answer to this question is that in any situation, remain in the receptive mode, give, but also allow yourself to receive. You can't just give if you're not going to receive. It does not create balance energetically speaking. If you take something out of a space, you have to be ready to put something into it. And so when you're teaching someone, you have to be willing to be taught as well, because you're giving a part of yourself and you need to receive something. Now, if these are chronic situations that keep repeating, then you should ask yourself, what am I bringing to the table, and am I being open? Am I being open enough? And that's going to give you some clarity, because you might find that the other person isn't mature enough to get what you're saying, or the other person isn't really listening. And maybe it's part of the problem is that they are immature. That might be part of the issue. But you need to realize that you probably aren't being as fluid in this situation as you could be as well. So this is about being honest with yourself. It's about being very open. And it's also about knowing that when you go into a situation, you should be leading with yourself. Excuse me. And what I mean by that is you should be going into a situation and not doing it for the other person. If you are doing something and you're doing it for the other person, I don't care what your intention is. If you're just doing it for the other person and it doesn't feel good to you, or it doesn't feel right to you, or it doesn't feel on purpose to you, if it doesn't make you feel expansive in here, then you probably should rethink that particular situation or course of action. So you always want to make sure that you're also getting fed. And that can become a little bit difficult in some situations that maybe aren't the most positive. You know, not everything is rainbows and butterflies and happiness and unicorns. I mean, some of it is really heavy and really visceral and really dark, and it really just sets in. And it's hard to know, do I feel good about this? Because it might not appear that way. But what you want to ask yourself is not so much do you feel good, but are you getting something from it? Are you learning something? Are you growing in some way? Is this rooted in something that is going to nourish you mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally? So that's what I have for that question. I hope that was clear. I hope I didn't ramble too much. And I hope that your particular situation becomes a little bit more clear because of this. But also make sure you're asking for more guidance, more intuitions based on your situation. I always feel like we get put in these different situations where we are really unclear about what's happening or what we want or what we need, but we don't ask for that clarity. And we also forget that there are a million ways to learn a particular lesson or to learn a particular insight that we're supposed to be having or inspiration that we're supposed to be having on a deeply spiritual level. There are many ways to do that and still have very similar results because it's all about intention. I'm going to share an article that I wrote that talks about our spiritual map, and that will give some more insight about this particular question and how to navigate the universe and navigate experiences so that you do feel more expansive and authentic and whole. All right, that's the message that I have for you. I'm really excited that we got to answer a question, and I hope that benefits all of you. And again, submit your questions. You can submit a question via the comments. You can submit a question through my website by going to the contact form. And just put in there that you want to submit a question to possibly be answered on the intuitive forecast video. I'm not going to be able to do all questions. Some questions may not be appropriate to do via the video. And in that case, I would suggest for you to set up your own private intuitive guidance session. I love working one-on-one with you. I love being able to look into your life, your flow, and help you get these big benefits from exploring your energy. And so you can set up that private session and you can do 20 minutes, you can do 30 minutes, you can do an hour, whatever seems appropriate for you. We can make it happen and we can get you on track and feeling really expansive in your life with what you're creating. All right, I'm Shaheen from ShaheenMiroInsights.com. Come visit me. I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, bye.